If HB 209 passes, voting rights groups, churches, and other nonprofit volunteer organizations would be prohibited from providing nonpartisan free assistance to voters with the absentee ballot request process. I wanted to lift up this message from the League of Women Voters of Alabama. This is a nonpartisan group, a very non-controversial group, frankly, if I'm just being honest. And even they are highly opposed to a new piece of legislation that is making its way through the legislature in Alabama. It's called House Bill 209, HB 209. It's already made it out of the House Constitution and Campaign and Elections Committee, is my understanding. And basically, this bill would criminalize providing absentee voting assistance. So, as many listeners know, there's been a lot of discussion of voter fraud in our country. And, many Republicans have been fighting imaginary voter issues. And so this kind of comes out of that. A lot of that rhetoric and a lot of these initiatives to restrict the right to vote, to make it harder to vote. Call me crazy, call me radical. I think we should make it easier for people to vote. And I think that maybe we could do things like having a national holiday for voting day. Maybe we could expand access to early voting and mail-in voting and absentee voting. So that's really the direction we ought to be going in, is to engage more people, to get more people in the process, to make it easier, because it shouldn't be hard for folks to vote and elect their representatives. But of course, that is not how many in the Alabama House of Representatives feel. 42 Alabama House Republicans have come together to co-sponsor this anti-democratic legislation, which would, quote, prohibit any person from distributing, ordering, requesting, collecting, completing, obtaining, or delivering an absentee ballot application or absentee ballot of another person in certain circumstances, and would provide for exceptions. The bill would prohibit any person from receiving a payment or providing a payment to another person for distributing, ordering, requesting, collecting, completing, obtaining, or delivering an absentee ballot application. And the bill would establish criminal penalties for violations. So if HB 209 passes, individuals who help a voter participate in the absentee voting process would be prosecuted and convicted of a Class D felony. Okay, so I was elected to be political coordinator for my local. Most locals have, some kind of role to that effect, legislative affairs committee, a political coordinator, whatever the title may be and the role may be. But one of the things that we do in our unions is try to make sure that our union members participate in elections at the local, state, and national level, so that we can try to have influence on these elections, right? We just talked about our unions, for better or worse, coming out with these endorsements of Joe Biden. That only matters if you can vote. And I get that the absentee voting process is not going to impact the majority of voters, but it will impact voters. And we shouldn't risk a felony by helping our brothers and sisters participate in the election, right? If I deliver an absentee ballot to someone, if I give them a ride to go pick up an absentee ballot or deliver it and drop it off, those shouldn't be activities that are going to risk a felony charge. And it's over nothing. There is no evidence of any wrongdoing here that's being addressed, which is classic Alabama legislature, right? They take a problem that doesn't exist and write a bill that's supposed to be a solution for this non-existent problem that in itself creates new problems that typically violate people's rights. So HB 209 will incite fear and confusion for vulnerable and underserved voters who have in the past obtained information and assistance from trusted, nonpartisan organizations such as the League. If HB 209 passes, voting rights groups, churches, and other nonprofit volunteer organizations would be prohibited from providing nonpartisan free assistance to voters with the absentee ballot request process. It would also criminalize individuals who are working to increase voter participation. So the League of Women Voters of Alabama, the Alabama Voting Rights Coalition, many organizers and advocates and organizations are asking your assistance in defeating HB 209. And if you'd like more information, I recommend an article by Patrick Darrington with the Alabama Political Reporter. And one thing he also discusses is how advocates believe that this bill probably violates the Americans with Disabilities Act, as well as Section 208 of the Voting Rights Act. But again, frequent followers of Alabama legislation know that they have never been deterred from passing a bill for fear it would be unconstitutional. And at no point does Alabama Republicans ever consider that or, stop themselves from passing a bill for fear it could be unconstitutional. So HB 209, it's something that really bothers me as a union member. It bothers me as someone who, believes folks should have a right to vote. And I wanted to make sure I put that information out there.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.
Which side are you on?